you so much for being here for this very special instalment of Tea with Jam and Clare, which we are switching up and making Bubbly with Jam and Clare. We're also making a couple of other switches, which I'll get to in a moment. But before we get underway, I want to acknowledge that I'm coming to you tonight from the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and pay my respects to elders past and present. I want to acknowledge that this land was stolen and never ceded, and that, of course, the ramifications of invasion stay with us still today. I also want to acknowledge that the Wurundjeri people have been telling stories on this land that I live and work on for tens of thousands of years, and it's exciting to be part of that ongoing storytelling tradition, and all of you join in as part of that tonight. So we are having champagne, sort of. I'm having bubbly water with Jam and Clare tonight. My friend Claire Bowditch and I started Tea with Jam and Clare about 2 years ago, where we interviewed women we thought were changing Australia. On stage, we had usually a cup of tea and would get to know them over about an hour or an hour and a half. Tonight, my darling friend Claire Bowditch isn't here. Claire's mum, Maria, died about 48 hours ago, and I want to just send every ounce of love and energy that I've got to the Bowditch clan. Maria is one of the most spectacular women I have ever met, and the last time I saw her was on a gorgeous Zoom call like this, and even in the middle of a cancer battle, she was vibrant and loud and so excited because her daughter had just won an award for her book. But Claire is, of course, taking some quiet time. So we have the wonderful Rusciano stepping into her shoes tonight. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello. How are you?
And you've been a guest on Tea with Jam and Clare before, so you know how it goes.
I do.
Bubbly. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking the Piper Heidsick Bubbly, some champers. I'd like to say it was my first glass, but I'd be lying. It's been a long lockdown.
It has. And our hearts go out to everyone who's watching us who's in lockdown. And those of you in other states,
get stuffed.
This is for us. Don't fight anymore. It's not fair. Now, Em and I have a whole bunch of things that we love that are the same. One is books. One is this wonderful Melbourne Writers Festival. And the other is Miranda Tapsell. And Miranda Tapsell is here. So please give her a very loud digital round of applause. Sorry, you can't hear anyone else, Miranda.
A very big hands. Hang on.
Hello.
Hey. Now,
Thank you
Miranda,
so much for having me.
We are so proud to have you. And, of course, Miranda is a Larrica woman. She has built a stellar career on stage, on big screens, and on little screens like this one. You will know her from The Sapphires, from Love Child, Doctor Doctor, or Top End Wedding, which she starred in and co-wrote, which is sort of showing off. Miranda is also the author of a brand new memoir called Top End Girl. She's here for the champagne and the good chats about that book. Miranda, welcome.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited, and I am so feeling a bit excited that I'm here chatting to people. You know, I just feel like I've been trapped at home for so long. It's just really lovely.
Yeah, we could all just start crying at any minute, and you guys at home just, smile and wave. We could
smile
all
and wave.
We don't know where this is going to go. As we were pre-chatting before, it really went some places. So
totally did.
I just want to start off by saying, go and buy this book immediately. Buy Top End Girl, Top End Girl. Like, that's all you need to remember. It's amazing, so clever. It's a guide. It's an education. It's a story. I was just worried I wouldn't get to that because we got distracted later. So buy Top End Girl by Miranda Tapsell. Okay, go.
Excellent top end product placement.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But I'm going to start with exactly that. I wanted to ask how both of you are doing in lockdown. You're both in Melbourne. It sucks. No one wants to be here. Miranda, we'll start with you.
I think for me, it helps to remind myself that I'm not the only one who's stuck at home. I think that's easy to forget when you're not interacting with people and you're getting stuff sent to the house, like you're getting groceries sent to the house and things. But I have to keep telling myself, I have my health, I have my safety, my family is safe, although they're showing off because they're sending me pictures of because it's in the NT there's still restrictions, but you know it's not as restricted, so they're still allowed to, you know, go out fishing and like take beers out and have damper and tea on the beach. And I'm just like, okay, so just stop sending me these photos,
Yeah,
please.
it's hateful. You're all getting blocked.
I'm getting jealous.
Now, Tappers, you did say off air that you've been doing a little bit of online shopping.
I have. I've been following that amazing roller skater. Oh my God, I just blanked her name. Umi.
Yes.
And yeah, so she's an Afro-German girl who's just like dominating.
Yes, I can see her. She does this one.
Yeah.
One? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It says I'm unstable. That makes sense.
It's true. She is, everybody. She's always been.
It said your internet is unstable. And I was like, I am unstable. Is it unstable?
I think it is a little bit. Miranda, are you buying roller skates therefore?
Yes, I bought myself some roller skates. I had to stop myself from buying a keyboard because I bought myself a guitar earlier in the pandemic. Right. And I've fallen through with all of those, like with practicing. So I'm like, okay, be real, Miranda. Like, are you gonna sit down and practice the keyboard if you're not even doing that? If you're not even committing to, if you're not even honoring the guitar? So, So I've been trying to distract myself, I guess.
Yeah. Please be careful on those roller skates. I'm sure you're very coordinated and very skilled. But my 38-year-old husband / teenage boy came off his skateboard 2 weeks ago and is now nursing a broken hand. And
oh my goodness.
Not a good look on old men mostly. Em, how are you coping?
I too bought a pair of roller skates, leopard print ones.
Oh yes.
I have been shopping. I bought an anxiety blanket. I bought an adult swaddle. I bought roller skates. I bought a game called Throw Burrito. I've just been trying to shop my emotions away, and it doesn't work the first 10 times. I've gone back about 72 more. I'm still trying to reach the goal. But yeah, for me, it's like, and when all the packaging arrives, I have to hide it like it's a dead body. Like I've got to like do this to the guy when he drives down the driveway, go. And then I race up and I meet him at the top. We've got this whole thing going now. So no one here can see the packages arrive. And our rubbish is out of control. We have so much rubbish. I'm having to like walk the streets dead of night, like doing bin espionage on my street.
Oh, we do a bit of that. That's nice, actually. I got the comment from the lady across the road the other day of, oh, you're getting a lot of packages, which was really quite rude, especially because about 4 weeks ago, one of them was Miranda Tapsell's excellent book. Look at my amazing segue there. We're going back on topic. Miranda, I want to ask, because you are a superstar of stage and screen already. You're doing powerful things and powerful storytelling in other places. So what made you want to write? What drew you back to writing as a medium?
I think that what I've really loved about my family reading the book was that they said, I understand you so much better now that I've read this book. And the thing is, I remember an actor friend of mine going, oh, who knows what goes through Miranda's head? Like, we'll just never know. We'll never know all the funny things she says, the funny things she thinks. We'll never know, the insightful things that she sees. And it's true. I don't vocalize things a lot because I've trained myself to bite my tongue. I go, oh, that's funny, but I won't say it because I know that will upset the person. Like I guess I think about what would be the consequences for me if I do vocalize it. But it's really beautiful because writing means that it's on my terms. And what's really paid off for me is that all of these people have only ever said lovely things about it, and they've gone, oh wow, like I feel like I know you so much better now that you've shared this part of yourself with me. And I'm really glad that I'm able to do that through writing.
Oh, love, that's awesome. I've got to say, but for a second, I
Teach me about this thinking before you speak business.
I think I'm at the opposite end. No, like I'm
unstable again.
I wish I could. Oh, you've cut out.
She's unstable. She continues to be. Em, I think you're briefly stable. Can you ask a question?
Okay, my question is, when I was writing my book, I found that I had to contact my publisher and say, is there a budget for therapy? Because to go back and write trauma, I had to relive it to kind of honour it. And I would come out of writing certain chapters and just be like, yes, just so sad. So did you find that also? Did you find yourself going back to some traumas? And I know there was a couple stories there that were really, oh God. Did you also feel the need for therapy?
That's so like, that means a lot to me that you asked me that, because I think people underestimate the vulnerable place you put yourself in when you're writing, because ultimately, if you're going to write about your life, you're going to have to write about the sad things that happen in it as well as the happy things. And so I guess when you have to go back to that time and you're having to think about how you felt and what was happening to you, I guess it's like natural revisiting it is going to make you fall back into that headspace. And like I did really have to like talk to someone about it, because I realized that all the things that I was feeling was completely valid, and I hadn't created that space for myself to feel that way and give myself and I think Australians are terrible with telling each other how they feel, and like Americans are really, really great at it. They're just like, this is how I feel in this moment, like they really whereas I think a lot of the time, like at least with my family, like it's not that we don't love each other or we don't care about each other, but it's I guess it's not like in this country, it's culturally you just don't express how you feel. And so I guess I really had to give myself permission to do that.
You're going a little bit funny, so I'm going to keep on going while you work out your unstable situation. She'll be back soon, everyone. She'll be back soon. This is the hell of doing it this way, isn't it? We'll get there. Miranda, can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing, what your childhood was like, and who in particular were your early influences?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness, there's so many. So the really great thing about growing up in the 90s is that there was this emergence of Black talent. So, there was Aaron Pedersen, there was Deb Mailman, Leah Purcell. Not that there wasn't before. Like we had Auntie Justine Saunders and Uncle Bob Mazza, but at the same time, like I think the 90s was where it was really kind of documented. It was out there in media. And I guess my mum could see that I was really getting into this acting business. And so she's like, these people are doing it. They're out there, Then they had to leave their communities. Deb's from Mount Isa and Aaron's from Alice Springs. So, I think it kind of made it less scary to conceive the idea of moving down to Sydney and pursue acting. Yeah.
It's a big thing to do, though. And I'm pausing briefly in case Emma's stable and we can get a question in, but I think she's unstable because she's very, very still. So she's either playing statues or
hang on.
frozen.
I don't know can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
I can see you guys, but I'm moving. Hang on. Oh God, I hope the camera's coming on now because the angle is terrible. I'm going closer to the internet. Hang on. Can you hang on? I'm moving closer to the internet. Wait, is this any better? Hang on. Oh shit. Oh, sorry for swearing. Okay. Wait, why are you all still frozen? I'm literally sitting on the NBN. Bloody Warren died. Hang on.
Don't tell people where you live, but we can hear you.
I mean,
throw in a question.
I mean France. Hang on. But I was listening. Oh, God. When you said Aaron Pedersen, my heart went a little bit funny because I had such a thing for him. Hang on. Wait. I'm sitting down now. Okay. I didn't hear her answer. I didn't hear the trauma answer. Did you have to go you did have to go see someone when you were writing? Is that right?
I think I sort of got it all out there, and then I spoke to someone. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I then processed it. I don't think that's the way to do it. I think you're meant to do it alongside, but it's because I wrote the book on the plane, on on television sets, I just didn't have a conventional way of writing. I just wrote whenever I could.
Yeah. You asked Jam. I'm still trying to figure this out.
All right. I don't think there are many memoirists who can get through that process without talking to someone, because you are literally dragging up all the feelings to feel again. So I am very excited. Everyone listening and watching who is a writer, go get some therapy. In fact, everyone, it's a good thing for you. Miranda, let's go back to your early influences in your childhood. I have seen it elsewhere in the media. You've spoken about the fact that your adult role models as a kid really celebrated your Aboriginality, which makes me very happy. Do you remember the first time you started to encounter people in the world who didn't? Because I imagine that would have been really confronting if you had that childhood cocoon of good people around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I had quite a different experience growing up as an Aboriginal person in the Northern Territory, because the thing is, we make up so much of the population in the Northern Territory that it is just kind of normal to have Aboriginal people around and to interact with them on a daily basis. It's not as if they were it's not to say that racism didn't exist, but everyone just lived amongst each other, so the conversation was different. I guess people were more comfortable with having it. So it was a very different experience growing up. So naturally, you can imagine when like I was asked about my Aboriginality, that it's quite a shock, because I grew up camping with my Aboriginal family. My mum gave me dolls with the same brown skin as her, and I had books of Dreamtime stories that that different Aboriginal communities had written together and the kids had painted. So for me, there wasn't something to be ashamed of when you said that you were Aboriginal. And so I guess that's the reason why I decided to become an actor, because I think after that, after that experience of being asked about my identity, because I don't have an Aboriginal dad, but I have a very loving dad, and so it was normal for me to have a really kind of caring and thoughtful father. For someone to kind of point it out was really threw me, because I was just like, oh well, why do I have to choose being Aboriginal and not, like, why can't my dad just be my dad and my mum just be my mum, or why can't I just have the brown skin that I have? But a boy in my class had asked me, why do you choose your mother's identity over your dad's? And I thought that was a bit unfair. But I paid the price for it, and I think it really cemented cemented how I went into adult life, because I thought, okay, I got up in front of my class for English, and I started talking about why I had to speak about my identity, but other people didn't, and it just caused such it was pandemonium after it. I
what do you mean? Why?
Oh, I was I was just so bullied after it. I think because I'm an only child too, because I don't have any siblings, I don't have that skill of just letting it flow like water off a duck's back, just sort of shrugging it off and going, oh, whatever, you said that, it was really hard for me. So I had my chair pulled out from under me. I was called horrible names, which I won't repeat. And after that experience, I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to mind my manners now, and I'm just going to be quiet, and I'm just going to sit up the back of the class and, just not challenge that. But that's not sustainable either, so it's just kind of like I just went through life going, how do I do this? Do I stand up for myself, or do I step back? Like, what do I do? And art was a really beautiful way to express myself, because I controlled the conversation. I was like, okay, well, if you want to know about me, if you want to know how I see things, then, and I'm in that position now, which is really wonderful, because I can say to people, well, read my book. If you don't understand this or you don't understand that, read my book. Watch my film.
That is so baller. You don't have to educate people anymore. You just throw your book at their head. Here you go, mate. Read this. It's the most baller move. This little girl who felt like she had to be quiet now has the ultimate. Here you go. But I could sense that.
I hope you're adding and it's $32.99 from reading.
$32.99 from readings, guys. Top end girl. Go and educate yourself. Sorry about the lighting. I'm going to hold my phone up. Am I stable again?
You are.
Am I stable?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I have to say, I mean, I've been stalking you a lot because I listened to your Deb Ball podcast too, which I was obsessed with.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
Oh my God. If you're not writing a series about Deb Balls, like if that's not coming, Miranda Tapsell, I will be very sad if there isn't some kind of like Beyonce brown skin girl visual album vibe movie made into Deb Balls. Oh my God. Because I had no idea.
Just put it out there into the universe, babe. Just put it out there.
Because I mean, I've got so many questions now. Because I was on hold for so long. Now I'm back. First of all, I can tell. I've been stalking you and watching you in a lot of interviews, and I can see you have such a beautiful, fast brain that fires off a million things. But I also see a person who's used to having to then condense that down and then really articulately think about what comes out their mouth. Like, I see that in you. I see your little eyes darting through the very smart thoughts that are hitting your head. And I said, God, that is someone who her whole life has been made to feel like she has to duck her head and be smaller. And I feel so seen by you. And even though I'm a 41-year-old Italian woman, I do feel seen by you when you talk like that, because I went into entertainment for the same reason, because I always had to like make myself a bit smaller because I didn't want to offend anyone. And then, when you get out there, you're just like, rah, and you've now got this book, and I'm just so proud of you in a non-condescending way.
No, that's really lovely of you to say, Em. I think a lot of women can relate to that. I think in both your books, I think at some point you kind of talked about how, you were just having to navigate, you had to navigate your way through these workplaces, and even though these workplaces were inherently different, you still had to make mental notes, even write them down on Post-its and in notebooks, just to go, this is what I'm going to say, and this is what I'm going to think about, and I'm not going to take a step wrong. And measuring what you say, and you think about, how are people going to take that the right way? It's I think it's not it's a very universal experience with a lot of women. It's so interesting though. It's I know that I shouldn't back down, and I know that I should speak up, but I think what people are only starting to sort of realize now is that the repercussions that women face, particularly Aboriginal women, is just so massive. Just the blowback you get for just wanting a better environment for yourself, or just to have to feel safe is so is just so huge, because it doesn't become about the safety of the woman. It's about how that other person felt. And so it's Sorry, I didn't mean to make everyone feel uncomfortable on a Friday night. But
do not apologise. This is a safe space. You don't have to think before you answer. This is like you are with the worst. Like she's very controlled, but I am. Everything hits my heart before my head, and you don't speak your heart. It's free time.
Thank you.
I think it's interesting though, because there are some commonalities for the three of us, because we're all children of mixed race parents. And I think there is a sense of kids who grow up between cultures and who've been stereotyped at a young age. And Miranda, that experience is so much more acute, I think, in Australia for Indigenous kids, particularly Indigenous girls. And as growing up, there's a sense that you have to represent everyone if you're loud. So if you F it up, it's not that you weren't a great actress or you weren't a great comedian, Em, or you weren't a great writer or whatever it was. It's that all Aboriginal women aren't good at that. You start to carry the group on your shoulder because you're part of that minority. And that's a huge amount of pressure. And no wonder you start to kind of bite your tongue and go, oh, better play safe.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Miranda, I was going to ask you that, and Jamila found an eloquent way to put it. Do you feel like you carry the weight of all of that for all Aboriginal women to be perfect and right first time so that everyone else isn't judged?
I mean, at times I do. I think because I'm aware that, you know, I have sort of gone into mainstream television and, you know, I've had success there. I think that's why it was so important to me that, you know, I list the Aboriginal authors that have made writing their life's work at the very end of Top End Girl. So I say, you know, please go and buy books by other Black women. I am so ashamed, though. I forgot to mention in the list Larissa Brent. I mentioned Tara June Winch, and I also mentioned Melissa Lukashenko. So yeah, I mentioned a lot of people, but I forgot to mention Larissa Brent, and I'm very, very sorry. I love her so much. She's so wonderful and supportive of my career, and I just felt really bad. I was just like on a deadline, and the pandemic hit right as I had to like press send, and so I was just sweating. I was just like, have I got everything right? And I just sent it off, and I was just like, okay, Godspeed.
I've got to say, named or not named, to me, Top End Wedding was like a love letter to Aboriginal women. Like it was just, I don't think I felt that singularly happy after sitting in front of a screen for a very, very long time. And
offensively charming. Yeah.
It was incredibly so. And I wanted to start by talking a little bit about, talking a little bit about the film, because I know we're going to be tight for time. So I want to ask what you wanted to do with that script before we get to the acting part of it, and the fact that I was utterly struck by the fact this was a rom-com with an utter absence of toxic masculinity. It's just like you just deleted it and you were like, Lauren and Ned are going to be nice to each other. I haven't had anything so crazy in my life. Can you tell us what your intention was for those two and the romance you were depicting on screen?
Yeah, honestly, I just sort of listened to I not only listened to my community, but I think I also listened to women. So understandably, there's a lot of women that don't like rom-coms, and I can understand why, because, you know, the bloke has to do literally nothing to get the girl, but the girl has to do everything to get to find happiness within this relationship. And so, you know, I didn't want to ignore that side of the genre. But I noticed also too that there were lots of people who were subverting that. And so I thought, well, like, you know, why can't Ned and Lauren be respectful to one another? Why can't the drama be outside of that relationship? And like my favorite filmmakers, Mira Nair, I hope, oh gosh, I think I said that wrong. I'm so sorry. Nair, and Taika Waititi, Ava DuVernay, they all managed to do this wonderful thing where they're like members of their community, their perspective, their expression of their culture is just it just becomes so familiar to me. Like, even though I'm not Maori, I'm not Indian, I'm not African American, I just feel like I've known those characters all my life. And that's really what I wanted for my community. I wanted people to feel like they did know everything that goes right in the community. They saw that. I mean, I do still believe that there's space for films to talk about issues that affect Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. I'm not sort of saying that there isn't room for that, but I guess I just wanted to show a film where not as it is, but what it should be. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because one of my favorite TV shows that I've been binging at the moment is Schitt's Creek, and I just love it so much. It just makes me so happy because it's just a given that, you know, that I guess just the way that they actively decide to treat one another. They're not navigating it. They're not talking about it. They're like, oh, what do I do with a son who's just come out? Like, you know, there's not any of that. There's just like, oh, he's come out. That's great. You know, I just love that. So yeah, I think there deserves to be more of a space for that kind of filmmaking as well.
Schitt's Creek, you've just set me off on a whole tangent. I'm obsessed. I love it so much.
Stay on Top End Wedding.
Sorry. The music in Top End Wedding. Did you really write to Janet Jackson?
Yes, I did. What? I did. Oh my God.
We were talking music before, and we'll get to John Farnham because we're both obsessed. But talk about the letter to Janet Jackson.
Well, I was really embarrassing because it was just the letter. I put the letter in the book, and it's just so fangirly. Like, it's really bad. It's like, hi, Miss Jackson. I just want you to know that I've been listening to your music all this time, and I loved you as a teenager, and I know that there's lots of people in my community who just love your music. So if you can just give me this thing, and like, if you can just give me this song, it would mean the world to me. In this, and my community has a lot of solidarity with yours. We're not the same, but we share a lot. So I was just. Actually, I just want to shovel right now so I can just hide.
That's amazing. I love that you did that.
It was shameless. It was so shameless, but I just couldn't find another song because the thing with the 90s is that it's all about, you know, sexy slow jams, and I needed something really upbeat for this moment, like when the girls get together and dance. And you know, Destiny's Child is very expensive. Understandably. But they're worth it. But yeah, I was just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I love that. I wrote a letter to Madonna telling her she was my biological mother. So, and I sent it. So you're not weird at all. At all. Like,
did she claim you? Did she adopt you?
Still waiting. I'm waiting.
Still waiting.
But
okay.
I drew all these parallels. Like, her first punk band was called Emmy, and that's what my family call me. And like, I found all these reasons why she was my mother. We're both Italian. We're both muscular. Like, it was so, and I was so convinced and I made my actual mother, Jenny, mail it. Like, can you imagine?
Oh, Jen.
Sorry, I think you're lying, and I think you've adopted me from Madonna Ciccone. So can we just mail it to her? Oh yeah. So I understand the shameless letter writing. Don't worry about that. Jamila, you keep it. You probably got a proper question. Go on.
Just trying to get it back together. Jenny, you're great.
Oh, Jenny's put up with so much.
Word to Em's mum.
My poor mum. But also, like, Jenny's like often doesn't exist because I lean so much into my Italian, into Vince, that I just don't even acknowledge the Aussie side. I'm like, my poor mum has been othered, like, completely. Like, people say, I'm Italian. I'm not Australian. I don't associate with them. I'm Italian. And my mum is blonde hair, blue-eyed, country New South Wales Aussie, Jenny Spence. It's like, hello. I'm like, oh, no, I don't know you. Don't know. I'm Italian. Sorry.
Oh, Jenny Spence.
Poor Jenny Spence.
Poor Jenny Spence.
Great.
She's bloody great. She is bloody great. But yeah, no, I understand that idea of, it's for something in this country they want you to pick. You have to be put in a nice box, a nice label. And if you don't, then people get very upset with you and call you difficult or try and other you or try and figure you out. So yeah.
I guess what confuses me is just the amount of energy that goes into it. It's like, guys, like,
doesn't matter.
Like, why is this, why are you losing sleep over this? You know, I just, you know,
I do.
Like, I remember the boy that asked me like why I chose to be Aboriginal and
chose.
Yeah. Is because like I remember him asking me when we were in art class and we were molding clay, and I was just like, this is so strange to be having this conversation here and now. Like when we're just minding our own business,
just making a pinch pot, you know,
just making a little pinch pot, you know, like it was bizarre.
And you must have been floored. You must have been like, sorry, what did you just ask? Like, it must have been like, Jesus Christ, taking the wind out of your lungs.
Oh, truly. I guess I've just picked up really quickly that if I don't have a very succinct or definitive answer there, then it's not true. And I guess what's great about writing is that I get to organize all those thoughts and I get to go, okay, well, I get to cut all the fat out and go, okay, well, what am I really trying to say? And you do so even more in film because you're having to convey an image rather than paint the picture in a book. Yeah, I think it's been really valuable for me because I do tend to take long-winded answers like I am now.
No, it's beautiful. do you feel like writing Top End Girl available now at all good bookstores? Where are we buying it, Jamila?
We're particularly buying it at readings.com.au or at the Melbourne Writers Festival online bookshop.
Top End Girl. When you were writing Top End Girl, Miranda Tapsell's new book, do you find that it actually did it help you figure out who you were? Like, did you found that within writing this book, not only were you telling the story, but you were also figuring it out for yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I think because I've it's not that I didn't know who I was, but I guess because I never knew how to put it into words. I guess I ended up second guessing myself a little bit. So because I was able to sit down and go, well, no, this is who I am, and this is my family, and this is the film that I made. I guess I was able to sort of walk a little bit taller with my head a little higher because I went, okay, no, this is exactly what it is.
I'm going to try and wrangle the conversation back from Em back onto the subject matter. Is that all right? What's this? What have I forgotten to mention in this? Oh, no! I thought I forgot to mention something. Em's in trouble.
Why? What have I done?
No, you've been glorious. Just a little unstable.
Which is accurate. Yeah.
I want to ask about the Tiwi Island characters in the film before we move on to non-top end wedding related content. How did you find the actors and who are going to be part of that? And I'm mainly asking because I'm obsessed with Foxy. But if you can see about, we're talking about multiple, the different combinations that come together to form our identity, and Em's just left the room now. Why was it important for you to bring in the Tiwi Islands?
Well, for me, I just felt that it was such a warm, inviting, not just because of the heat, but I mean, I think I was just so loved and embraced when I went home to the Tiwi Islands. And what was so beautiful was that there was lots of colourful personalities on the island. They were, a lot of people were a lot more confident and forthright than I was. And so I just had learned so much being on the islands. I appreciated the art, the screen printing, the color. Like, it was just such a filmic place to be as well. And I thought, that the people and the place is just too special to not put that on film. And I'm so glad it exists in film now. One of the actors in the film, Bernard, who plays my grandfather in the show, oh my goodness, he was like Paul Newman or Robert Redford when he auditioned. I was just like, who are you and where did this acting ability come from? Like, it's just not that you need to go to drama school to act, but it was just no one needed to kind of tell him what to do. He just knew exactly where he needed to be and knew exactly what to say. It was just he was just so beautiful to watch on camera, him and his wife, Eugenia. And oh, sorry, that's the character's name. What am I saying? I'm confusing it. Lynette. I'm very sorry. I mixed them up. But yes, so Bernard and Lynette were just such wonderful are just such a wonderful husband and wife. And I just feel like the generosity that the whole community gave was so I was so thankful, because everyone was just like, oh, you should have the Parmigiani and the Tapalingini, you should wear them, and we should sing this song. I just really loved that collaborative nature that we had with the community. So I'm so glad we did.
It was just like, it was the most joyous culmination of an already joyous film. That section, like I know it had so much light to it, and so much warmth, and that sense of any place that any community you would want to be a part of or visit is one like that is so embracing of anyone who's coming home or who's coming for a moment. I wanted to ask about your Logie's acceptance speech for Love Child, because in that speech you talked about the need for more people of colour and their stories to be depicted on Aussie TV screens. And look, I turn on my TV and like I don't really see people's faces on the streets of Melbourne anymore, but back when I did, those faces, or at the beach in Byron or communities on the top end, what you see in those communities when you're outside is completely different to what you see on a screen. Are things improving, or are we kind of kidding ourselves that they're improving? I feel like I don't have a sense anymore.
I have to admit that I'm not sure if I do either. I think sometimes people sometimes people think that we have improved, but in my experience in the industry, I feel like we could be doing a whole lot more. And I say that with kindness. I say that with I just it's not anger where I'm speaking from. It's actually coming from a place of like, hey, this can be better and we can do it, so I'm very proactive in that sense. But yeah, I feel like because so many people had a window into the world that I knew for Top End Wedding, I just feel like that was just everyone grew a curiosity.
Yeah.
So more people were reading books, more people were educating themselves, and so the label wasn't sort of so. I'm not saying I solved racism. I'm not saying everyone did that, but
maybe you did.
Maybe you did. But it was lovely to see a lot of people that did see the film, were attempting to do that, and that was really lovely, and it made me kind of think, well, I don't think we should. I'm not saying representation is everything either, but I can see that it is really it is really the start of all those conversations. And I don't know about anyone else watching, but I'm sick of talking in circles, and I feel like sometimes art can do that. It can kind of break that circle a little bit, and it doesn't become as much of a stagnant conversation to have.
Hey, James, your husband has remarked that you're what's she gonna say? That you're a different person when you're home. That there's Northern Territory Miranda and there's Victoria Miranda.
Yes.
Is that who is Northern Territory Miranda? Who is she?
Oh,
and I would love to meet her.
Northern Territory Miranda talks so much more slang.
Yeah. Same as me when I get around my family, straight away I go.
Yeah.
110 turbo wog. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I shouldn't be laughing. Sorry, that's terrible. But I feel like, I get a lot more nasal, and it's even at drama school, like I just remember that I'd have my theatre voice on, and then I'd be and then I'd be talking to my mum going like, "Oi, what you doing?" Yeah, it'd just be like, it'd just change. Like I've learned how to code switch, and I think it's really special, and it's and it I don't know, it just kind of grounds me when I'm back home, and I feel like I'm the best version of myself when I go back home. I'm sure that lots of people feel that way when they go back to their hometown, but I think it's because my family have taken me out fishing, and we've gone camping, and we've collected mud crabs together and all of that, and bush tucker together and all of that sort of thing. I just feel as if it's the thing that kind of grounds me and goes, okay, I know where I'm at in my life, and I know what I need to do next. It's just, I think and it's why it's really hard for me at the moment, because I just go, oh man, like I just wish I was home. I wish I was thawing out. Like I love Melbourne. There's so many things I love about Melbourne. I love the lifestyle. I love the people. But I feel like I need to thaw out, I need to be with my family, and I think that's the hardest thing about the pandemic, I think.
Yeah. And with the Northern Territory closing its borders for what have they said, a year and a half, like that's scary stuff when one part of the family's on one side and one part of the family's on the other. That's really hard stuff. We're gonna, as my little boy keeps saying as he runs around the house washing his hands all the time, we're going to beat the virus and it'll all be fine, so don't stress.
I need a bit of that in my house, God.
Yeah, you need a child who is fighting the pandemic with a level of ferocity of watching a lot of episodes of She-Ra on TV.
Oh.
My 5-year-old's got you.
Okay.
Miranda, I want to ask about that episode of Get Crackin', where you and Nakia Louie created what I think is possibly the most captivating 10 minutes of Aussie television ever, and I'm not exaggerating. It's
breathtaking. I shrieked. I shrieked. I clutched my pearls, and I was like, I couldn't. When something hits you so hard, you can't get all the emotions out fast enough. And I sent it to about 1,000 people.
Oh, that's so great.
Talk us through it. Talk us through the whole thing. Yeah.
Tell us about the creation and everything. The reaction.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Well, so the Kates had approached Nakia and I in season 1, and we had a little guest appearance towards the end of season 1, and I just loved working with those women so much, and turns out they loved working with us. So they then emailed me and Nakia, and they said, "Are you interested in working on season 2?" I was just so blown away by what the Kates and Nakia had written. I was up in Catherine shooting Top End Wedding, and they're just like, "Oh, Miranda, we need your approval. Can you read this?" And thankfully, I was like by myself in my hotel room because I was reading it, and I feel like a lot of people see anger as something that's dangerous, but I feel like it's even more dangerous when you hold it in.
Oh, yes.
And so for these amazing comedic comedic geniuses to kind of, I don't know, articulate how I feel, it was just so special. And I just remember it was a very cathartic experience when I read it. I was just like, oh my gosh. Because it is true, you do need to put your anger somewhere.
Yeah.
If it just stays inside, it
eats you alive.
I guess
Yeah.
It eats you alive. It's the same as any emotion. It's the same as profound grief, profound happiness, profound love. Like, you always need to put it out there. You always need to tell the people that you love them. You always need to, be upset when you lose them. You always need to be angry when you don't agree with one another. Like, it's healthy. And so for that to be but it was still a gamble, when I think about it. I still go, oh, how is this going to be perceived by people? Are they going to take it on board and see that as a personal attack? Are they how are people going to read it? And the fact that so many people understood it was so wonderful. And I think, that's what every actor ever dreams of, to be given permission to do that kind of challenging, exciting work.
So good. I'm just thinking about it now.
It's like, after this conversation, I need to go watch it again. Like,
everyone has homework. When we finish, buy Miranda's book, go watch the movie. I think it's on one of the streaming services. What did I watch it on? Netflix or Stan? Netflix. Oh, she's on Netflix, guys. Yeah. Go watch it on Netflix, and then go and look up the Get Crackin' episode with Nakia and yourself, who I'm obsessed with. You two need your own little sitcom sketch comedy. I'm obsessed with your energy. You and her together are brilliant. I'm obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with you in a non-creepy way. But I love that we've set people. It is a little creepy, but that's okay. But we're setting homework for everyone watching now. So they're the 3 things you must do: buy the book, watch the movie, and then go and check that.
I have started wearing glasses lately, which means I look like a teacher, which just means you'll be in trouble, everybody. Don't be at home.
I'm always frightened of you. She's the teacher. You are the teacher figure in my life. Yeah.
It's quite frightening. It's definitely true.
You are.
No, thank you so much. And I think another thing I really loved about the show is that a lot of people realized, oh, wow, like this, for anything to really change, like, we both need to, I think more of the work needs to come from, the non-Indigenous Australians. And I loved that so many people acknowledged that and said, okay, well, we need to do the heavy lifting here.
Yeah.
And it was delivered in such a heartfelt, funny way. Well, not the performance. I mean, the writing. It was written in such a
No, the performance was. Don't do that. Don't diminish yourself. Not in my presence, girl. Not in my presence. You were brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all right. I like
it's
to
so
yell
crazy,
my praise.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
When you when any Australian that goes to America just talks about how that is not tolerated at all. I remember being asked what I hoped to get out of my career in America when I was looking for managers, and I remembered talking to one and saying, "Oh, I want to work with this person and this person, if they want." I did that thing, if they want. I did such it's and I could just see that. I just saw their whole body language change. And even though they were being perfectly lovely, I just saw their eyes glaze over, the meeting was done from there. So yes, that's definitely been a journey for Miranda Tapsell to not sort of talk myself down on my achievements. And I think the book was a really great thing to go, hey, like, I didn't do this alone, but isn't it amazing that I was able to do all of these things?
But the book also allows you to kind of take up your space in the world and hold it. And that's magic. Like, I think, I hope, because you're so talented and so special, and you do represent a lot of people who haven't felt represented until now. And you've also become the person you probably needed and wanted desperately. And what an amazing thing to achieve, Miranda Tapsell. You've become the person you needed. So I think, the book is just well done, and what an achievement. And I always think, if you've achieved nothing else, you've done this. And you've just carved out that little spot in the universe that you've made, and you're holding up the sides. So well bloody done. Really
thank you so much. No, I really hope that it is a weird time to promote a book, but but I don't know about anyone else, but I realize that reading for me has been the thing that really calms my brain down. And just kind of escape into another world for a bit. It's not to say we should be ignoring things that are happening or not taking responsibility by wearing a mask. Please wear a mask. I think, but self-care in this time is also really important. So finding things that make you happy, like reading, is not a small thing either. So I really hope that people do find a bit of joy and happiness and inspiration when they read Top End Girl.
They will. Oh my God, I'm teary. You've made me teary.
We have found a whole bunch of inspiration and joy just sitting here hanging out in your company for an hour. Miranda, I want to say an absolutely enormous thank you for being so candid and honest, and you've done a lot of education work tonight, and that's not expected from you, but we appreciate it. And in return, everyone's going to do the homework that Auntie Em has set them.
That is correct.
I want to thank you as well. Not only
but I just want to apologise for all the technical difficulties, the lighting changes, the set changes, the mood changes, the hot flushes, the crying. Very sorry. But Miranda, you're such a little ball of sunshine, and it was so nice to just stand under your glow tonight, because God, I needed it. I've been really flat. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Shining a little light on me. It was so good. Buy her book, Top End Girl.
Please do.
Thanks, guys.
Massive thank you to the Melbourne Writers Festival Digital, and a huge congratulations to Rebecca McFarlane and Jean Smith and the team, because pulling this festival together at very late notice in the virtual world is a really big challenge, and I know there are a lot of authors and readers who appreciate it. Anyone watching, the very best way you can support the festival is to go to another event. There's a 2 more days of festival events, and if you're in a tough financial spot at the moment, you can go along for free. It's pay what you can model. You just give as much as you can give right now, and if that's nothing, that is not a problem. The second best way you can support the festival is to support the authors and the artists. So if you can head to readings.com.au or MWF online, you can go to the festival bookshop. You can buy Miranda's book if you hadn't got that message already. Don't know where you were if you haven't got that one. There's also books available from all of the wonderful authors we've had appearing at the festival. Thank you so much for having us. Wear a mask, wash your hands, and good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye,
Thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh,